What is up, everybody? Nick Fiore of Fiorious Nation, the creator of Fiorious Nation, right here on YouTube.com. I am Nick Fiore. It is Sunday, April 3rd of 2022. I'm Nick Fiore. It is the day of WrestleMania 38, night number 2, as you can see in this the sunlight, bright sunlight. It's sorry about this bright white light in the right here. So let me turn this bad boy right here. So yeah, that's good. So it's a little sunny out and 85-degree weather. So it's gonna be hot today, going into the AT&T Stadium for WrestleMania 38 night 2 tonight. So in this lovely hotel once again. So as you can see, this is the review video for and WrestleMania 38 night 2. That's tonight, later tonight. But right here, we're not talking about, but right here, we're not talking about WrestleMania. We're not going to talk about WrestleMania 38 night number 2. We're going to talk some NXT Stand and Deliver 2022 review video right here on Fiorious Nation, right here on YouTube.com. But before we discuss NXT and Stand and Deliver, will not take over NXT Stand and Deliver. Before we discuss about that, I'd like to introduce to you a guest here in the channel, so we can. I want to introduce to you a guest here in the channel. He's making his debut right here on Fiorious Nation. A good friend of mine on Twitter. He has his own YouTube channel called The Wrestling Experience. He's a good friend of mine, good mind for the wrestling business, a smart wrestling fan. He tells it like it is, like me and Adam, Carl, and DJ Storms, Joseph Conlin, and all. He's a good friend of mine, like I said. And he and I are going to discuss some NXT Stand and Deliver today and give our thoughts on it from NXT Stand and Deliver from American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas from a day ago. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, making his debut right here in the Fiorious Station on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Earl Call. Earl Call, you're making a debut on Fiorious Nation. How
Hello.
does it feel
Yeah.
to be here?
It's just absolutely fantastic. And hello everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome to WrestleMania weekend number 2. After a magical evening of wrestling that took place. Well, it started on Friday. It started on Friday because I did watch the Ring of Honor, and then it just trailed all the way into last night, with night number 1 of WrestleMania in the books. Magical evening, magical moments were made at WrestleMania, and it just culminated in the afternoon with Stand and Deliver. So yeah, so it's a lot to talk about. I love being here on Nick's Various Nations YouTube channel. Making my debut. As everybody knows, I am the host of the Wrestling Experience. Yeah. Yeah, I am the host of Wrestling Experience, and yeah, 43 episodes in, and I'm just having a fun time with the show. It's absolutely fun. It's really entertaining. If you've never seen it before, I suggest that you go on my YouTube channel and watch the encore presentation, because Nick was part of my experience not once but twice. And he has brought me a lot of views when he was on my channel last. So I am indebted to him, and I am indebted to everyone who has come on the experience. It's a fun experience. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to help you, Nick. And yeah, let's get this party started.
Oh hell yeah, we're absolutely. We're going to talk NXT. We're going to talk about Stand and Deliver. We're going to talk about what went down on Saturday afternoon, the results, where each individual could go from here, championships that changed hands, rumor speculation coming out of Stand and Deliver, etc., etc. The first NXT special outside of Florida for the first time since right before the COVID-19 pandemic 2 years ago. So before we get started, I would like you to, well, yeah, before we get started, first of all, I want you to hit the like button on the video. It would be greatly appreciated. hit that like button on the video. Be greatly appreciated, as I'm about 67 subscribers. Would like to hit 80 by the end of the year at least. So hit that like button if you haven't done so already yet. Same thing with the subscribe button. Subscribe to Fiorious Nation as well. Turn on the bell for all notifications as well while you're also at it. Would also be greatly appreciated. So you get notified whenever videos are uploaded from Fiorious Nation and onto YouTube.com. So hit that bell for all notifications. Hit the subscribe and hit the like as well. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at FioreNick579 over on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at NicholasFiore2014. And you can follow me on Facebook at Nicholas_Fiore31. You can add me as a friend on Facebook if you like. Links in the description. Earl Cole, where can we follow you on social media?
It's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's very simple. You can follow me on Twitter. At WWE Earl C. That is WWE Earl C on Twitter. Instagram, I'm available at Earl C99. And of course, you can make me a friend on Facebook. And I just may invite you to become a part of the DJ Storms Posse page, which, by the way, I am a senior administrator on the page. And tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, on the Wrestling Experience, which will be episode number 44, we're going to do the Raw after WrestleMania watch along. So please join me tomorrow night as me and my guests, Escobar Morales and Kyle Velasquez and I, we will go over Monday Night Raw, our second annual watch along. It's going to be a fun evening of wrestling action for you. Right after WrestleMania concludes this evening, we're going to do Raw tomorrow night. And that should be a very humdinger of an episode.
And speaking of DJ Storms, shout out to DJ Storms too. I believe yesterday was his 23rd birthday, so happy birthday to DJ Storms.
Yes,
speaking of
happy birthday, DJ Storms.
Yes. The creator of the DJ Storms Posse, highly recommend checking him out in his YouTube channel with the Lightning Flash update. Great guy, great listen. Highly recommend checking him out. So follow him on YouTube as well if you haven't done so already yet. Shout out to DJ Storms too. And let's get started with NXT Stand and Deliver. So let's talk NXT Stand and Deliver 2022. This was the first NXT special outside of the state of Florida since a month before the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was NXT TakeOver Portland in February 2020. It was the last time NXT was out of Florida for NXT special. So now it's not TakeOver, it's Stand and Deliver. They were in Dallas, Texas, American Airlines Center yesterday, which I was there actually live, by the way. I got a very good seat. I was actually close to the front, like where the ramp is. Very close to that. So I got some really good seats. First time at an NXT show since the last time I was at an NXT house show was Poughkeepsie, New York, Mid-Hudson Civic Center, February of 2019. So that was my first NXT attending live since then. NXT was actually supposed to be in Poughkeepsie in 2020 at the same place. Then the COVID hit. Then they got rescheduled and they canceled again because of the pandemic. So at NXT, so I was at NXT Stand and Deliver personally last night. What did I think of the show? I mean, there live it was decent, and and if you watch it on the network on Peacock, or as Pat McAfee would call it, the cock. But Stand and Deliver, what did you think of it, Earl Cole? I thought it was an all right show. Definitely not the worst by any means. It was some good wrestling, and the talent they have can wrestle, but I thought it was a decent show. It was an okay, all right show. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, first of all, I stopped watching NXT after it went to 2.0 because I felt that, it was a slap in the face of Triple H.
Nothing needed to be changed.
No, nothing needed to be changed. And the thing is that they kind of ruined it. They kind of ruined it with the 2.0. So I had said that I would not engage in this anymore. But what I did was is because it was WrestleMania weekend, I decided to just take a peek at the Stand and Deliver because this was the first time. This was the first time in a long time that they have been in a different arena besides Florida. Um, the matches were okay. I'm not going to say they were classics. I'm not going to say that. The matches were good as for what it was. The audience, however, I just wish that they had more energy to them. It wasn't the typical NXT crowd that I'm used to. The typical NXT crowd usually chants NXT, 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 and they usually are lively. This audience was not as lively as I would like them to be. Um, I don't know. Maybe was the matches they were disconnected from him. I'm not sure what it was, but it wasn't a typical NXT crowd for me. And it was like I said, the show was okay. The show was okay. The energy level in the audience, I wish it was more lively, but I mean, hey, it was what it is.
Yeah, pretty much over the same thing over here, man. Pretty much the same thing over here. I mean, the guys and girls work their asses off. I mean, you look at the talent NXT has, it could be a good show. It's just that nothing needed to be changed of the previous NXT. I mean, and this 2.0 experiment is really an experiment. It really is. Like the no midget policy, only big man and young edict, which won't last. It won't last. And this actually isn't the first time NXT I've heard has done this. They did the same shit in the past about almost a decade ago, and it didn't really last then. There was actually a story. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Remember the American Wolves of Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards at the time? They had a WWE tryout in 2013 and they wanted to get signed, but they didn't sign them because of the edict you see in NXT today and such.
Right.
So they did the same crap before in the past. They didn't last then. I honestly do not see this last now. It's like, and they have interest in MJF and Wardlow, Jade Cargill. Now they have interest in Ethan Page. I don't see this edict lasting because honestly, and I've been saying this for weeks, I don't have a problem with the athletes coming in. Like if you have a mixture of athletes and indie guys, you have a mixture of both, it would be better off. But when you have the veterans who are higher than them, when you have them here, you have the athletes be over them here. That's where I have the problem. That's where I have the big problem because you need those indie veteran experienced guys from the indie wrestler stuff. You need those guys to make these athletes better and let them get better and help them improve. Like there still is the need for someone like a Champa, like a Gargano, like an
Right.
LA Knight, like a Cameron Grimes, Pete Dunne, etc., etc. There still is a need for those guys at the end of the day because without them, Von Wagner's not going to get better. Braun Breaker's not going to get better. Tony
Right.
D'Angelo's not going to get better. The Creed brothers are not going to get better. Cora Jade's not going to get better. And that's the truth. And if you don't see that, I don't know where your head's at.
Right.
Your thoughts on that?
No, I know I agree with all of that assessment. I agree with
Yeah,
all of that assessment. Because you need something to bring up to the forefront.
exactly.
And yeah, and if you want a strong, um, if you want a strong core group of wrestlers, you need those guys to like put up that energy level and get them up to that pay window.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's like their policy no indie wrestlers, yet they just signed Rogue C. It's like they legit broke their own policy, and it's like yet they
I
want
just
youth.
think I just
Like I said,
yeah,
this edict won't last. It's a fail. It's a failure. It's a fail.
no, I mean it's a PR nightmare. I mean this
Oh yeah,
company. This company is two-faced because one minute they say
There's
A and
Kurt
then they
Angle
go
with
over there.
NXT. They want no indie wrestlers. That's lies. They signed Rogue C.
I mean, come on. I mean, why what do you got against an indie star? I mean, they bust their ass too. Yeah, I mean, come on. Night after night, you go into different promotions, and you go into different arenas and stuff like that. You busting your ass. And the thing is that this company always talks two sides out of their butt cheeks. They don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about.
It's like they want no more. They want no professional wrestlers. Yet they brought Rogue C. Lies. They
Oh,
signed
come
Rogue
on.
C.
Oh,
They
please.
and
Oh,
Adam
please.
Carl and I have said this in the past too, and still to this day. They literally broke their own fucking no indie wrestler policy, legitimately. But they won't tell you that though.
Yeah, listen. At the end of the day, indie stars is where to go. If you
Exactly.
want if you want some fresh talent, listen. If you want some fresh talent and you want some athleticism in the ring, that's what everybody wants to see in the ring when they go see a wrestling match. They don't want to see somebody slow like molasses, like an old boss or something like that.
They
Nobody
don't want to
wants to
watch
see
who's
that.
green as grass.
Right. Nobody wants to see that. I mean, come on
And
now.
Scotty Too Hotty
I
even
mean, come
said,
on
I
now.
think
People,
about a few months ago. Even Scotty Too Hotty said about a few months ago, does he think it'll swing back the other way, hiring the veteran indie guys? Yes, because you putting green versus green on live television can be very dangerous. You need people in that ring who know what the hell they're doing, who know how to carry a match.
well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't want you listen. You want to connect with the audience, and you want to interweave into a story. So if you want to interweave and you want to connect with the audience, Indy is the way to go. I mean, you bring up his star power, you advance his resume, you can hone in on his craft. There's just the potential is there. It's just that you have to come up to the forefront and say to yourself, this has potential.
Exactly. Like some of these 2.0 people, I mean, will they get there? Yes, but it's not an overnight thing. That's where we're coming from. It's not going to be an overnight process. It takes 3 to 5 years for a lot of these 2.0 people to be ready. Some of them are not ready, like Cora Jade. Braun Breaker's getting better, but he's still not there yet. He's still very much green in the ring.
Right.
Von Wagner's not ready at all. Tony D is probably one of the very few who I think has been getting better, and he's going to be ready. The guy
Right.
just has it, Tony D'Angelo. He just has it. And he's
Well, of
definitely one of my
course.
favorites in NXT these days.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler. I mean, you listen. When you bring someone in the ring, you can tell who has it, and then who don't have it. Which is plainly obvious. You don't need a brick to fall on your head.
Exactly. And, and
Right.
even with some AEW and even with a lot of AEW contracts coming up this year, it's like you can't tell me, oh, WWE doesn't want them. They want nothing to do with them. Sure, they don't. But I heard WWE says that AEW is not competition. They are competition.
Yeah.
But WWE won't tell you that
Well,
though.
they are. Well, they won't tell you that. But the thing is that with their product, they've been desperate and thirsty for a very long time,
Oh yeah.
and they always try to think they know what is best for the audience when they really don't. Now,
Yeah.
this weekend they delivered, no pun intended, but they did deliver
NXT Stand and
some of the
Deliver.
goods last. Right, they did deliver the
They stood and
ultimate
they
goods last
absolutely and they
night.
definitely delivered.
Yeah, they delivered the stuff last night. The show last night's WrestleMania was good. I'm not
Yeah.
going to knock anything about it. It was good. It had some
WrestleMania
magical
night one. It's
moments
like
in.
WrestleMania night one. It's like some people, oh, you bash WWE just to bash them. No, you think we want to come on here and bash them all the time? No, we just want a good product.
We just want a good show. And that is something that everybody keeps failing to see. See, that is the problem that I've
Like
said
some
this on
people
my
say,
show.
oh, you guys want to complain just for the sake of it. No, that's not true. That's far from the truth.
No. People just don't understand. You see, that's the problem with wrestling fans. They don't see the overall picture. And I have said this many times on my show that a lot of people do not see the overall picture. They never do. And the thing is that when I try to explain things to people, oh, you're just one of those AEW trills, and
No,
no.
far
I
from
have taken
AEW
both.
shows.
No, right. I have taken this company. I have taken both companies to the woodshed many times over.
They do
It,
something good
it
because goes
is
for both companies. They do something good, you praise them. They
right.
do something bad, you call them out on it.
Right, exactly. And that's what I do. And that's what I do on my show. I call it as I see it.
Exactly. It's called criticism, and no company's immune from criticism. And speaking of which,
Right.
the pre-show match, the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus the Toxic Attraction of JC Jade and Gigi Dolan, aka Priscilla Kelly, from the 2018 Mae Young Classic. This match, I mean, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez reuniting. I mean, they feuded a few months ago and they're back. It didn't really make any sense to me. And they win the titles here from Toxic Attraction, who I think just wasn't working out. Priscilla Kelly's decent in the ring. She was good in the 2018 Man Classic, was Gigi Dolan. JC Jane, she's got some work to do, in my opinion. Still, she's not there yet. But
Right.
this was okay. They did have Wendy Chu out there, which I'm not a fan of. There's some parts of NXT these days I like and dislike. This is one of my dislike with Wendy Chu. It's like a ripoff of Orange Cassidy, which I'm not liking. And they had Raquel and Dakota win the titles here. I thought Toxic Attraction was going to retain, and I thought they were going to call Dakota and Raquel up to the main roster. It looks like that's not the case anymore right now because they won the titles from Toxic Attraction yesterday. The match was not terrible, but it was there's just, you need to give the audience a reason to care. Honestly, the match wasn't bad by any means, but you just like, there's not enough reason to care right now. And I like Dakota Kai and I like Raquel Gonzalez. I like both ladies, but just give me more a reason to care and all. Earl, give me your quick thoughts on this.
I agree with your assessment on this. I I thought the match was myrrh, to be honest with you. It was okay. I mean, I didn't understand why she came out in her slippers and a robe, and she had a teddy bear and she threw the drink in the woman's face. I just thought that was ridiculous. I was like, what is this? What? Why are you mashing this together? I didn't understand it. I was confused. I was like, is she in a feud with these people, or what is happening here? Because I I was kind of lost as to what she was doing out there. The
It's like
match
some of these
itself,
ladies have no direction, like Wendy Chu.
no, no, there's no thought process. And let me just say something. The commentators did not explain why she was out there, and they did not explain like what association does she have with the women. So there was this, you were kind of like lost in sort of like what is happening here, because if somebody was watching this for the first time, they would be like totally confused. They would not be knowing what is going on here. I mean, it's just, that was the problem. That was the only problem. That was one of the problems that I had with the whole thing. The match itself was okay. I mean, it wasn't mediocre. It was just right in the middle of okay. I mean, it wasn't anything like, I wouldn't say it was a classic. I wouldn't say anything. And let me ask you something. And let me think if I remember this. Dakota Kai and Gonzalez, weren't they feuding in NXT before?
Yeah, even going into NXT Takeover 36, and then they had that street fight around the end of 2021, which Raquel Gonzalez
Yeah,
won.
she turns
And
heel.
Dakota cost
She
Raquel the
turns
NXT Women's title against Mandy Rose last October at Halloween Havoc.
right. So I don't understand then why did you marry them together as a tag team? That doesn't make any sense.
It just feels so weird and random to put them back together.
Yeah, it's such a disconnect because
Yeah,
the thing is that they one's a heel, then you switch them back from baby face to heel, then you go back. I mean, the whole thing is a clunky mess.
it is.
Wouldn't it be, yeah, wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it have been any better if you would have just left it the way it is and continued the feud until you finish with it? That's what I would have done if I was booking it. Uh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have them mashed together as a tag team and then bury the hatchet and that's the end of the feud. I don't
Like
I
if you're
don't
gonna reunite them, at least have the blow off feud, have Raquel go over and then Dakota take some time off for a while, then come back.
right. I would have done that. I mean, it's something like that would have worked.
If
But
they
to
did
just
that,
mash
I
them,
think it would have come off a lot better.
yes, I agree with you. I Nick,
Instead of
I
having
want
Dakota
to
Kai
one
team up with Wendy Chu in the Mayon Classic.
right. I just didn't understand it. I did not get that. And I was thinking in my head, I said, wait, now didn't these two feud back in the day of NXT? I'm like, why all of a sudden are you mashing them together as a tag team and you make them both baby face? I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
That sounds
But
like a
Dakota and
hot
Raquel
mess.
won the titles here. Where do they go from here? There's not much tag teams in the NXT women's
No,
tag
there
team.
isn't.
The only one is Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter, and that's it.
Hmm. I don't
If I'm
know.
being brutally
I think
honest.
the tag. You know, I mean, you are correct. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what is going on here with these women tag teams. But
Just have them
I
retire
think,
the titles, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, I don't see. I think that there's a lot of depletion when it comes to the women locker room and as far as trying to merge tag teams together. I mean, you're coming up with things that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Though I
okay,
mean,
so now that
though I mean, have Dakota and Dakota. I see. Keep calling Dakota. Ugh, I'm sorry, I have the names mixed up with Raquel and Dakota. One of those days where you can't talk. But Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. There you go. I honestly think. Let me hear me out. Have them retire the tag team titles because there's no women's tag teams in NXT outside of Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. Have them retire the NXT women's tag team titles. And how about you bring a mid card title to the NXT women's division? I think that would be a hell of a lot better because at least
yeah,
with some women in NXT, it at least gives them something to fight for that are not
yeah,
there
well,
yet for the NXT women's championship, like a Cora Jade.
right, right,
If there was a mid card
yeah,
title
who
in NXT women's division, I think that would be better off for Cora Jade because she's not there yet.
no, she's still green in the ring,
Yeah.
and she needs a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But yeah, moving on to
it's
the next match of the night, and this was where we start into the main show. Right before they started the main show, they had they had Santos Escobar with Legado del Fantasma make his entrance, which I thought was really good. It had the mask. That was a cool entrance. You had Grayson Waller coming out with Sangha, and then you had also coming out most of the match. Solo Sikoa coming out, who is getting better, and he's the brother of Jimmy and Jay Uso. He's impressive.
oh
So I was like, I don't know what it's like. So it's like that was kind of weird, but and then they go live on Peacock, and then Cameron Grimes is making his entrance. Then Carmelo Hayes is making his entrance.
Right.
So we used to kick off the main card for NXT Stand and Deliver. We got the 5-man ladder match for the NXT North American Championship. Carmelo Hayes, Cameron Grimes, Solo Sikoa, Grayson Waller, and Santos Escobar. This match, I will say the spots they did were crazy, and they took their time with this, and it went and it was perfectly. This match was really good, and I'm glad they kicked off the show with this. Um, they had some really good spots in this match. They had one spot where Santos Escobar was sandwiching ladders. I think he did something to Grimes in the corner where he kicked the ladder and to Grimes where Grimes was sitting on the bottom turnbuckle. They had another spot where Escobar did some suicide dive into Sikoa. We had Hayes taking out Grimes on the outside with the moonsault. You had another spot where Waller, how he does that roll into the ring stunner. He did it. I
Right.
think I remember. I think it was Santos Escobar did it too. When Santos Escobar was climbing the ladder, so that was a cool spot. Um, there was another spot where Solo Sikoa and Escobar were on the top of the ladder fighting. Escobar pushed
Right.
Sikoa off the ladder, and he bounced off the ladder, set up, wedged in the corner. Then you had another really cool spot. Grayson Waller, and he's on the top ladder outside. He tries to go for the elbow off the ladder
Right.
outside through another. I think Grimes and Hayes were both stacked on two ladders that were wedged between the apron and the barricade, two of them on the outside. Grayson Waller was climbing the ladder. He's and before that, Grayson Waller was actually 1 point close to grabbing the title, but he decided to do an elbow off the top of the ladder in the ring. Then he tries to do another elbow off the ladder on the outside. Waller crashes and burns on the ladder stacked on the outside, and Waller may have hurt his elbow, but that was nasty. There was another spot where Escobar did the Phantom Driver, I believe on Hayes, if not mistaken. But then there was 1 point. It was down to Escobar and Grimes. Grimes hit the cave-in. Crowd went nuts, was going nuts, and Cameron Grimes climbs a ladder. And the winner and your new NXT North American champion, Cameron Grimes, who I think is very well deserved of this NXT North American title. His father, and they've been telling this story for as of late, going into it's not Takeover, going into NXT Stand and Deliver, where Cameron Grimes' father sadly passed away before Grimes got signed to a WWE contract. And before his dad died, he told Cameron Grimes that, you're going to be a WWE superstar. You're going to get signed to a WWE contract. This is before Cameron Grimes' father passed. And this is Grimes' first major title win in NXT. And I couldn't be more, and I'm very happy for him. Cameron Grimes, very good at what he does. I like his to the moon thing. He's very charismatic, very good wrestler. I think he's going to do that North American title well. I think he's definitely well deserved. Being in NXT for 3 years, I think he's coming along. I think he's just coming a long way. Earl Cole, give me your thoughts on this ladder match. Give me your thoughts on all these 5 men in this ladder match and the spots. And floor is yours, man.
The spots in the ring was just absolutely fantastic. I love ladder matches. I do. If done booked correctly, it's the most entertaining thing you ever seen on paper. The spots in the match were fantastic. I had no issues with it. I especially love the part where the ladder got ripped apart in half. That hurt. That was
Sanga.
yeah, son, yeah, ripping the ladder in half. That was absolutely. I was like, wow. Yeah, I had no issues with it. I'm glad that the right person won here. This is sort of a redemption for Cameron Grimes. And I think that he deserves this championship, and I think that he deserves a spotlight in the pay window. Like you said, I agree with what you said in your assessment. 3 years is a long time to be in NXT, and he deserves it. He deserves his major championship and this North American title. I hope that he has a good run. I hope they give him a good run. I hope that the booking is correct for him win these championships. That's the only thing that I'm concerned with. When it comes to WWE and booking, you know as well as I do. Sometimes it's in the weeds. Sometimes it comes out smelling like roses. So you just never know what you're gonna get. But
Yeah.
all in all, the match was great. I like Santos Escobar too. I
The guy
think
is Santos Escobar, dude, is money. I don't know how you don't make money off Legado del Fantasma and Santos Escobar. He's a guy, you look at him,
right.
he's ready for like SmackDown, and you put him on SmackDown, you move Rey Mysterio back to SmackDown, and imagine a SmackDown program between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. Money. Absolute fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I would have thought that they would have moved him up to, before Andrade Alidoro got released from WWE. I had thought that they were going to merge him and from the Escobar and all of them and make a faction out of it, because that would have been
Oh,
fantastic.
would have loved that. If Andrade would have stayed, would have loved that.
It would have loved. I would have loved it. I absolutely would have loved it. They would have been on SmackDown. They would have overtaken SmackDown as a faction. I mean, that
As
would have
like
been
like a
fantastic.
Latino world order, like something like with like NWO with but with Latinos.
Yes, yes, because all of them can wrestle. All of them can wrestle, and it would have been a fantastic feud if they would have went
Even
after Rey
adding Electra
Mysterio.
Lopez with Raul Mendoza, Walking Wild, Santos Escobar, and Andrade.
Yeah, can you imagine? Can you
Or you
imagine
could
that
or you could
faction?
even or even could have also put Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo in there too.
Yeah, exactly. You could have had a very fantastic faction, a very fantastic thing, something to watch because you would
Yeah.
never know what they'll do. This faction, you know. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, things don't work out the way you envision it. Um, but again, like I said, I'm happy for Cameron Grimes. I'm happy that he got the title, and yeah, the match was good. The match was fantastic. I
So
had
Solo
again, like I
Sikoa,
said, I,
he's
I
getting
had
better.
no. Mhm.
Solo Sikoa is getting better.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I had no issues with the match. I thought it was
Yeah.
good. It was a good
Yeah, and
way to
then you
kick the show
got
off.
Grayson Waller, who's not there yet. Um,
No,
no, but he's
no,
not bad in the ring at all. He can wrestle.
no, no. He can wrestle. The match had fluidity to it. See, that is one thing I like about wrestling matches. I've said this on my show many times. I like fluidity. I like chemistry. I like the interaction that you get in a wrestling match. If you can't give me those elements, then you don't have me invested in the
Exactly.
match.
And then you got Carmelo Hayes, who was the eighth champion, and he talks a big game, but he backs it up. He backs it up.
Yes,
And Trick
yes.
Williams, I will say about Trick Williams too. And there was a spot where I thought he was going to climb the ladder and grab the title, but Grimes stopped him in his tracks
Oh
and
yeah,
pushed him off the ladder.
yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
Trick Williams, I
I
will
mean,
say this about Trick Williams though. At first, when I saw him in September, I was like, this guy sucks. He's never gonna make it." But you know what? These past few months, he's been growing on me, and he's really not that bad. He's really not that bad.
yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing like they say about that guy Logan Paul. Look at his performance last night at WrestleMania. I mean,
Yeah,
I would have never have guessed. I would have never have guessed that he would have those kind of moves as a performer. But he
I mean,
did.
Logan
I
Paul
mean,
definitely shut me up last night.
yeah, he did. I mean, he was the surprise of the night. Because everybody didn't know what you were gonna get. I thought it was gonna be like a sloppy finish, or he was not gonna do great in the ring. But he did good. He did good.
Yeah,
I was very shocked at that. Very shocked.
pretty much. And then Carmelo Hayes was North American champion since October, and he loses
Right.
it. He's held it for like almost 6 months. Not a bad title reign. Not a bad title reign. Where do you think Carmelo Hayes
No,
goes? Where does he move up in the main
no.
event? Do we see him in the NXT title picture? Because I think he should go in there.
Yeah, I think the NXT title picture should be in his future. Um, I don't know about calling him up to the main roster.
No, 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 no.
I would
He
be a
should
little cautious.
Carmelo Hayes should at least win the NXT title first and then get called up.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right because I
Damn good
think that
professional
would be a
wrestler. I'll
major
never forget his
mistake.
match with Adam Cole last year in the summer in NXT when he fought Adam Cole, baby.
Right. Yeah, he did. Right. And that was a great match.
And I think Carmelo Hayes wrestled
Yeah.
in the Indies too as Christian Casanova, if not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
So, and young as
Yeah.
he is, he's a Massachusetts guy, but good matches with Adam Cole, good matches with Pete Dunne, not calling him
Right.
Butch. Um,
Right.
Good matches with Cameron Grimes and all, and Dexter Loomis, and Johnny, even against Johnny Gargano too. Those were like the triple threat with
Right.
Gargano and Dunne was a good match too. Round late last year. So, but
Right.
yeah, Carmelo Hayes should at least be moved up in the main event. I think. Cameron Grimes deserving. Hopefully has a decent run with it, and I I do see like that underdog thing in Cameron Grimes, and like you look at him, I do see a little bit of Brian, like Daniel Bryan in him. But he's also got that goofy
Hmm.
personality, and he's entertaining, and the guy can talk, and the guy can wrestle. He backs it up. He backs it
Right.
up. He's a damn good pro wrestler. He knows what he's doing. And like when I predicted Cameron Grimes to win here, and I mean I could have seen Carmelo Hayes win with some kind of fuck finish, but you know what? I picked Cameron Grimes, and you know what? I think that was the right move. I mean, I don't know how you could get better than Cameron Grimes winning. I think that was the right move.
Yeah, no, I agree. Agree. I think that is
Yeah.
an
So then we're gonna
agreeable
move on to
point.
the next match of the night. We then got the next match on the show, Tony D'Angelo, who was managed by AJ Galante, um, versus Tommaso Ciampa, which was Ciampa's last match, a part of NXT, apparently. Um, Decent little match. They're not a bad match. I like Tommaso Ciampa. Big fan of Tommaso Ciampa. I like Tony D'Angelo and that Sicilian kind of character. I think he's great, and the guy can wrestle too. Um, Tony D'Angelo just has that machismo. You just watch, like, if you watch NXT these days, like for those of you who watch NXT, for those of you who watch NXT these days, you just know who has it and who doesn't. Tony D has it. Charisma, personality, in ring skill. He's gonna be fine. I think he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about him at all. Um, Tommaso Ciampa, man, he's been with NXT since like what 2015, just 2016. And it looks like this was his last match, a part of NXT yesterday afternoon. Um, it looks like this is it for Ciampa in NXT. Do you see him now? Before we discuss that, decent match, and Tony D'Angelo won. There was one spot where Ciampa exposed the flooring. And then Tony D'Angelo used the crowbar, and there was another spot in the match. I can pull it up. I have my notes right here. Um, there was, hold on. Yep, there was one spot where Tony D'Angelo got to the ropes, and Ciampa tried to suplex D'Angelo on the exposed floor, but D'Angelo countered into a DDT, and DDT Champ on the concrete, and then D'Angelo just kicked Champ in the face and pinned him. Then afterwards, and this was not a bad match whatsoever. This was a good match, and Ciampa carried Tony D. I think he's going to do good things in NXT as Tony D'Angelo. After this match, people are chanting "Thank you, Ciampa" and DIY. There's also one part of this match where Ciampa used the Gargano escape, and there was some chance of Johnny wrestling in there. I even chanted it too. So that was a nice little thing to Johnny Gargano. So that was nice. There were chants after the match of "Thank you, Ciampa." And then I did not expect this at all. Triple H then comes out, and the place went nuts, and he hugged Ciampa. A smile on Triple H's face, a smile on Ciampa's face. Because Ciampa, that's Triple H's boy, man. It's Triple H's boy, and it looks like from the match we saw, and Tony D'Angelo was put over big by Ciampa. I think Ciampa, I mean, do I see him getting released? No. Why would you release him? I do think his time in NXT is done. I think he's leaving NXT, but I think he's getting called up to Raw or SmackDown. What do you think about this entire situation?
Okay, well, first of all, the match itself, I thought it was kind of disappointing because I would have thought in my head, I don't know, I guess because you know, I think of when people are leaving one area of the show. I mean, if you're leaving NXT, wouldn't you rather have the person go out on top versus the other way around and have them get pinned in the ring? I'm not a fan of that. Because if the person is leaving the organization or retiring or whatever he's going to do here,
I
I
think
would
he's
have had
36 too, and he does have some neck problems. As history of him.
yeah. I would have thought in my head that he would have went out on top. But okay, well, I digress. The match was okay. I had no issues with the match. I had no issues with it. But again, like I said, I was a little disappointed with the finish. I would have loved to see Ciampa would have won the match over D'Angelo versus the other way around. Um, However, the two of them had chemistry in the ring, and I like the old Ciampa when he pulled up the mat, and I said, "Oh, he's gonna do like he did Organo," and I thought that was fantastic. But then when I saw him get pinned, I was like, oh, disappointing. Um, Not the way I wanted to see him go out. If he's gonna go out now, as far as him going to the main roster, I don't remember if I read this correctly, but I believe he said, and I believe he said, and I quote, he said if he was ever asked to go to the main roster, he'd rather retire. So I don't think I see him going to the main roster. Unless they gave him, a lucrative contract deal and he wants to wrestle, but maybe on occasion they bring him out on occasion for special occasions, and then he does it like that. But I don't see him going to the main roster. But the
I,
match was
I
good.
highly doubt he gets released. He was NXT champion for like a while ago. Like, why would he get released?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get released. I don't think he's gonna get released. I think that probably he's either going to retire and be done with wrestling for good, or they give him a lucrative contract and they bring him up to the main roster, and he either goes on the Raw roster or he goes on the SmackDown roster. I think if
And
he went to the
if he
SmackDown roster,
yes, you brought up the what I was just gonna say. Two good minds think alike.
right, if he goes to the SmackDown roster, then I would have him feud with Sami Zayn.
Yes. I would not
Um,
mind that at all, actually.
Huh?
I would not mind that at all, actually. A
Yeah.
SmackDown feud with Sammy and
No,
Ciampa. I'd like to see that.
no, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I would not mind seeing that.
And
I mean, the
SmackDown's roster,
possibilities
and
are
look at
endless.
SmackDown's roster. They need all the help they can get at this point.
Right, right. Um, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing this. I mean, if we went to the SmackDown roster, I wouldn't mind seeing that. If he went to the Raw roster, then of course I would say definitely have him feud with AJ Styles, have him feud with Edge, have him play with this person. That the possibility and the booking are
Cody
endless.
Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Kevin
Yes,
Owens.
yeah, yes. Have him feud with those guys. I wouldn't mind it at all. I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Yeah, but I mean, Ciampa, if he goes to the main roster, pray for him. I don't trust the main roster at all with him. I don't.
You
And
know
you look at a
what? You
guy
know
like
something.
Ciampa. There's no reason not to push him. Look at a guy like Ciampa. This guy can be something big on Raw or SmackDown. Just because he's not big and just because he's not on steroids, the guy can be something. There's no reason to not push him.
Yeah,
Like no fucking excuse.
yeah. Well, you
And
know
and
something.
Raw
Some of
and
them,
on Raw and on SmackDown, they need stars. They need main event stars.
right?
There's absolutely no
And the
fucking
thing is, with
excuse.
some of the NXT, right? With some of the NXT call ups, some of them they've done in booking injustice with them, but then some of them have been flourishing. Not all of them have been flourishing, but some of them have. Um, some of them they just can't seem to book them correctly, and then there are other ones that they can book correctly. So I
Exactly.
don't know. I don't know, but either roster would work for him. Either roster.
Yeah. I mean, if I was booking it things, I would put him on SmackDown because SmackDown roster needs fucking people bad. And
Right.
especially Roman's gonna need more challengers. Just Drew McIntyre Ricochet is not enough.
No. No.
Yep. But moving on to the next match, we then get the triple threat tag team match for the NXT tag team titles. We get MSK, who have their own entrance. We have the Creed brothers coming out with their entrance. We had Ivy Nile and Malcolm Bivens, who I am a big fan of. They have come out with some cloth or towel thing regarding the Creed brothers and Diamond Mine. I love Malcolm Bivens, man. Guy is great. Ivy I would like to see more of. She's impressive. And then you got Imperium, who they changed their perfect theme music. They changed the music to a generic Def Rebel fucking god awful theme music. So they changed Imperium's theme music along with Walter or Gunther,
Mm.
which I did not like. This
I
match
always
wasn't.
call
Go ahead.
I call him I don't call him Gunther. I don't like that name. I just
Yeah, I'm still calling him Walter, but yeah, but this match wasn't too bad. Decent little match.
no.
We had some fun little spots. We had some spots in this match where I'm bringing up my notes. We had Lee, Barthel, and Julia start the match. We had Eichner do some kind of lariat on Lee. Um, Carter then breaks the pin. Barthel then lands a dive. Then Lee hits a cartwheel splash, which looked good. Uh, Tower of Doom spot in the corner that takes everyone out. Brutus then hit a cannonball dive on the outside as well. The Creeds then hit a slingshot spinebuster as well. Eichner then pulls Julius out of the ring to break up the pinfall. Barthel then lands the roaring European uppercut like on the outside apron, or the European uppercut that sent Julius into the ring steps, which looked nasty. Imperium then hits their tag team finisher, their Doomsday European uppercut on Brutus Creed on the outside. Then Imperium gets back on the ring. Nash, Carter, and Wesley then hit the Rana off the top into a power bomb. So Wesley hits the this is on Marcel Bartel. Wesley, a top rope Hurricane Rana, Nash Carter into like a power bomb, which looked pretty good. And 1, 2, 3, and the winners in your new NXT Tag Team Champions, MSK. I actually thought the Creed brothers were going to win this because I thought it was their time, and they have been getting better. The matches with MSK, the matches with Imperium, the Creed brothers, you can tell, are getting better. They have been having a storyline who took up the Creed brothers about a few weeks ago in NXT. People are speculating who the attackers are. Now, Creed brothers didn't win here, and they didn't take the pin in this match. Now, MSK win the titles here. Do you think MSK is going to turn heel, are they going to reveal themselves as the attackers? And do we see the Creed brothers chase and then eventually win those titles, possibly at the next NXT special, like was in Dallas? What are your thoughts on all that? Thoughts on MSK? Thoughts on the Creed brothers, Imperium, etc.? Give me your thoughts on this entire thing and all. Earl Cole, floor is yours, man.
Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate it. The match was okay. I liked it. I'm a fan of triple threat matches. I'm a fan of triple threats. I think they're okay. As long as they're booked correctly, I don't have any problem with it. I can get invested in it. MSK winning the tag team belts again for the second time. I have no issues with it. I have no issues with it. And to make them turn heel, I wouldn't have a problem with that. And
I mean, MSK is heels. I'm not so sure though. Maybe they can pull it off. We said the same thing when Sami Zayn turned heel, when Daniel Bryan turned heel, and when Bayley turned heel. We all thought they were not going to do well as heels, but they shut a lot of people up.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to turn them heel, I think they can be turned heels. Now, as far as the attackers is concerned, I have no idea who did that. That should be revealed very soon, and who did it is a question. I don't know if it was MSK who did it. I don't know.
Oh, remember the Creed brothers beat MSK in the Dusty Cup Finals for the men this year. Something to think about.
Yeah, that's what we call, ladies and gentlemen, in the realm of wrestling, food for thought. In the realm of booking. Yeah, I had no issues.
Storyline continuation and consistency.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we got here. You know, it was MSK winning the titles. Again, the match was decent. I had no issues with it. I thought it had great fluidity, had great chemistry in the ring. It told a story. Now, I don't know how some people would feel about them winning the titles again, but I had no issues with it. I don't see any problem with it. This is the way they wanted to travel, the go to the road to travel on. Again, like I said, I have no qualms about it.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I like MSK. They represent Black and Gold NXT more than anything. They're also Triple H's boys too. And MSK is freaking great. They're
over with the fans. I think the fans like MSK.
Though I did hear a report a little while ago that I think Wesley with Kimberly,
Mm-hmm.
about with Izzy and her father about a while ago, but something like that.
Well, like I said
probably
before,
matter because MSK won the titles here.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question, Nick. You were in the audience. You were in the audience. You were with the other audience there.
Yeah, the MSK and Greek Brothers and Imperium are right there in front of me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you were there. let me ask you a question. What was the audience's temperature in the room when they won the titles? Were they excited about it? Were they happy about it? Was it in the middle? Was it in the needle? What was it like?
I thought it was okay. I don't think they really hated it. They weren't booed or anything. I thought it was okay. I thought it was the crowd was all right for it. If I'm being fair, um, MSK winning, I was not expecting. I don't think anyone expected them to win.
No, I wasn't. I thought it was. I had thought we were going to get a retainment. That's what I thought. That's what I thought in the booking. But I guess I guess I don't know the WWE as well as I know. I thought I knew them. Uh, but like I said, the Creed brothers winning the titles for the second time.
Looks like they're going to have them
Again,
chase and eventually win the titles off MSK.
yeah. Well, again, like I said, I don't have an issue with it. I just
I
don't.
don't either. I don't hate it at all. What
No,
I don't like is them changing Imperium's theme song. That I didn't like.
no, no. Well, I mean, listen. As I always says to you, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You
Exactly.
know, Yeah, I mean, just leave it alone. I don't know. I don't know. These name changes, the music changes.
Why do you need to change something that doesn't need to be changed? Like
That's what
from
I don't
From
understand.
Walter
With
to
the name
Gunther, from
changes.
Pete Dunne to Butch, from like making Karrion Cross wear suspenders
Yeah,
on Raw with Karrion Cross. What's there to
yeah,
need to change shit? There's nothing to change.
yeah. I mean, Piper Niven, the dewdrop. I mean, come
Like
on
people
now.
know who
I
Piper
mean,
Niven is from NXT UK. There's like people know who she is. You know, your fans are not stupid.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm just not. I'm not a fan of none of these things that they
Yeah,
do.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't understand the logic.
like you said, Earl Call, and I absolutely agree with you. And I even say the same thing, and so does Adam Carl. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, I mean, if it's working all this time and you're getting over with the fans, don't change anything.
Yeah, it's
Leave it
like
alone.
it's
Leave it
like you play in a band
alone.
and you have a music album. Then it's like if your music album's doing really good so far, you don't need to change anything unless it's getting stale. If it's not getting stale, you don't need to
Right,
change anything of it. But if it's getting good, then you
right.
change it. The fans are going to call you out on it.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that it's like one of those head scratchers. It's like
Yeah.
this is why I use the hashtag. What are you doing, WWE? What are
And
you doing?
yeah. And can we get rid of Def Rebel too? They fucking suck as far as the music group goes. Can we please bring back CFOs or something? My God, like Def Rebel is just terrible. It's terrible. The only good of Def Rebel is Roman Reigns' theme song, along with the theme songs of Biggie and Karrion Cross. And it's not even Def Rebel's theme. They didn't have they I'm sure they didn't even have much input in that. If they did, they'd make it really terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
anyways, MSK win. Decent little match. Shocked by the outcome that MSK won, but I don't hate it whatsoever. Next
No,
match,
I don't.
NXT.
I don't.
Yeah. Next match, Fatal 4-Way, NXT Women's Championship. Mandy Rose versus Io Shirai versus Kaylee Ray versus Cora Jade. We got Cora Jade with her entrance at Stand and Deliver. There's people coming out on skateboards and such. You had Kaylee Ray make her entrance. You had Io Shirai make her entrance, and she is over. Io is over. And then you had Mandy Rose with her entrance, which reminded me of Shawn Michaels' entrance when he fought The Undertaker at
Yeah.
WrestleMania 25 in 2009. This gave me vibes of that when Shawn wore the white hat and the white cape or whatever. It reminded me a lot of that. And that was actually not
Right.
a bad entrance for Mandy Rose. And she came out by herself too. No toxic
No.
attraction, which I'm glad for that. You know, heels
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Mandy doesn't really need help to win.
Well, you know something? I'm glad that you brought that up. But before we get into this,
You
I'm
don't
glad
need
that
the
you brought
cheat.
that
You
because
don't need the cheat to win all
I
the
was
time. And you don't need outside interference all the time to be a good heel.
no, that's what I'm talking about. I'm glad that you brought that up because I was saying the same thing to Brett Baker. I was saying the same thing with Dr. Brent Baker. I mean, that match that she had at Revolution, that was just way too much interference. That was just way too much.
With Jamie
It was just
Hayter and
too
Rebel.
over. Yeah, it was just too much. It was way too much. You don't need, as a champion, you don't need help because it makes the champion look like, well, I can't do this on my own. I need assistance. You don't need that.
And it gets really tired really quickly, and it makes the fans go, okay, we know this one's the heel. They win by cheating. That's what they usually do. And it's like just the same old shit.
Right. It becomes very formulaic.
It gets really tired really fast.
Yeah,
Look at what
exactly.
happened with the Miz when he was with the Miztourage, and then Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers. It got really fucking
Right.
tired where people just wanted it to be done with.
Oh, please don't even mention the Miz. Oh my God.
And they took the Miz away from the Miztourage with the 2018 shake-up. That was the best move they ever made.
Oh gosh.
But this match here, Fatal 4-Way, I mean, Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai won the Women's Dusty Cup, right? And it doesn't make any sense to put them
Right.
in NXT Women's title match here when they won the Women's Tag Team Dusty Cup, when they should go for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles instead of Dakota and Raquel, you know? But as much sense that did not make, I think adding Io and
Right.
KLR in this match made this match for the NXT Women's title yesterday at Stand and Deliver that much better. If it was Mandy Rose and Cora Jade one-on-one, match would have not been good at all because Mandy Rose, she can wrestle, but she can't. I mean, she's not a woman to build a division around, and Mandy Rose can't carry a match. She can't. Cora Jade is still very much green in the ring. So adding Io Shirai and Kaylee right to this thing actually made the match that much better, in my opinion. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think the match had some what I call gunpowder element to it. The match was okay. I had no issues with this. Let me say something about Mandy Rose. She surprised me. When she was in the main roster, she wasn't really a good wrestler at all. She wasn't really nothing to write home about. And I had thought that they were going to release her. I had thought that they were going to let her go. Because she really didn't serve any value when she was on the main roster. Then when they moved her down to NXT and I saw how she was, performing in the ring, I was like, what happened? I said, this is a day and night Mandy Rose here. Um, I thought it was I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved the match. The match was okay. I had no
there
issues
was
with it.
one
Mandy
spot where Cora
Rataney was
Jade did
right.
some like Canadian Destroyer on the outside on Kaylee Ray, but Cora Jade's still not ready.
No. I thought that the right person won the match. The retainment was correct. Um, yeah, no, I had no issues with it.
Yeah, they also had
And
Kaylee Ray putting Rose in the Koji clutch. You had Shirai doing her own submission with a cloverleaf on Cora Jade. You had also Jade hit a double arm DDT on Mandy Rose. Kaylee Ray breaks up the pin. We then had Kaylee Ray hit the gory bomb. Um, Shirai pushes Kaylee Ray out to the floor. Shirai goes for the moonsault. Rose appears out of nowhere. She blasts Shirai with the running bicycle knee, and Rose pins Shirai to retain the title. I thought Cora Jade would eat the pin, but nope. But Mandy Rose retains. I kind of figured she would because usually when a heel champion or something like that is usually defends the title Fatal 4-Way, usually they end up retaining. And I kind of figured Mandy would retain, and she did. I don't know who Mandy
yeah,
Rose title from here. Cora Jade still needs more work. I don't think it should be Cora Jade. Cora's still green as grass in the ring. I don't know who you have Mandy defend against. I don't know. I know Candice LeRae's contract is coming up this May or spring, but I don't know if they're going to extend it because of her pregnancy. But I think if there's one woman who I think could take the title off Mandy Rose, if the time is appropriate, Candice LeRae maybe. I mean, and I think Mandy Rose needs some more baby faces to defend against. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but quick thoughts and all. Quick final thoughts on this match before we move on to the next match.
Again, like I said, I don't have any issues with the match. I thought that the match had fluidity to it, and most of the women in the match, they're not really ready for a spotlight, a main event spotlight. I think most of them need a lot of work. And Mandy Rose, I agree with what you said. She can't carry a match by herself. She still needs some work, I think. As a champion, she's okay. She's a champion for now. But I think the other women like Io Shirai, when is she getting a title match? When is she getting a title belt? I mean, this woman has been in NXT now for a very long time, and I don't understand why they haven't built anything around her as far as booking is concerned. So I think she's due for a championship opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Io, there's no reason to not. Io Shirai, you call her up, no reason to not push her. And Io, I think, has been ready for a main roster call up. If you're calling Io Shirai up, I don't see her getting cut or whatever. Io Shirai, I think she's ready. She should have been called up to the main roster ages ago. Io Shirai, put her on SmackDown. They need fucking help over there. I don't think Raw really needs her. Could you imagine Io Shirai for Sasha Banks, like part 2? The matches we saw them in the summer of 2020. I would like to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see that too. I mean, she needs something. She needs some kind of a push here.
And Raw and SmackDown need something. Eventually, they're going to need something. They do need something like an arm shot of adrenaline. They desperately need something. They desperately need fucking something bad more than anything right now.
Right. They need something. They need something crisp. They need something fresh. They need something innovative.
They need an arm shot of adrenaline. They need a shot of bourbon or two. They need something. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They need something.
A good swift kick in the pants.
They need something just to slap them right in the face and say, "Hey, you need to wake up right now and get serious."
Right, exactly, and get the ball rolling here. I hope that tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw that we get a start of something good for a change, because it is needed.
They need stars on Raw and on SmackDown.
Yeah, they need to create stars, and that's what they need to do. It's going to be interesting to see what Night 2 delivers to us tonight. So I'm kind of curious to see exactly what we're going to get.
But yeah, not a bad match for the NXT Women's title.
No.
Also, they changed the strap color of it.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw. They changed to a white colored strap and a little bit of not much rainbow, a little. Well, actually, and they had some rainbow in the title plate. But looking at the strap, it's actually not that bad. Kind of makes it different from the NXT Championship, but I mean, looking at the white strap of the NXT Women's title now, it kind of gives me vibes of the Intercontinental title that Cody Rhodes revealed at Hell in a Cell 2011, if you remember.
Right.
The one that The Miz held in 2016 when he feuded with Dolph Ziggler. Remember that when they feuded at No Mercy 2016, where Ziggler put his career on the line? When SmackDown was awesome.
Right.
When it was SmackDown Live, it was freaking great. Miz was Intercontinental Champion. Right. He feuded with Ziggler. Ziggler even put his career on the line at No Mercy 2016, won the IC title. Had a ladder match with the title with the two at TLC 2016. It was great. It was great. But,
yeah, those are good times.
Yeah, I missed that SmackDown so much, man. You had AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose in the WWE title picture. You had Baron Corbin on the rise. You had Kalisto. You had the Hype Bros of Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley. You had the Ascension. You had the Usos in their heel turn. You had American Alpha of Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. You had Randy Orton joining the Wyatt family. It was great. It was fun times. For sure. I missed that SmackDown so much. It just, he had Ryan Ward there who wrote the show. It was awesome. Really. And man, do I miss that SmackDown.
Yeah,
that's a SmackDown that we should be getting on Fox on Friday nights, but unfortunately right now we're not, which sucks.
No.
So moving on. What?
So is Raw.
Yeah, Raw's terrible too. But next match we got Walter versus LA Knight. Who, man, is he over? And he is a guy who's been ready for the main roster. Absolutely, you look at a guy like LA Knight. How do you fuck this guy up? You put him on SmackDown. There's no excuse whatsoever to not get behind this guy and to not push this guy right. The guy just charisma. He can wrestle. Mic skills. He's over as hell. The catchphrases. He's like an NXT like Rock. And like an NXT like Dwayne Johnson. The guy just has it too. And the guy is ready. He's been ready. SmackDown after Mania put LA Knight on SmackDown. Absolutely no excuses.
Yeah, he's a combination of Shawn Michaels and The Rock.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. He has that charisma.
That natural charisma too.
And he's very interesting to watch. Yes. And he's very interesting to watch.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. And this match with Walter wasn't bad either. We had LA Knight and Walter end up in the corner. We had Walter mushing Knight. Then we had Walter doing some powerbomb on the apron, which looked nasty. Walter then works Knight over. Walter then locks in Boston Crab. Then when Knight was trying to get to the ropes, Walter then transitioned into an STF. Knight then reaches the bottom ropes. Then Knight hits the ropes and runs right into a chop from Walter, man. And I won't forget the chop he did to Duke Hudson a few weeks ago in NXT. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Like hamburger meat.
If you were a wrestler, would you want
Walter?
Yeah, I know. If you were a wrestler, would you want Walter to be chopping you like that? No, I don't think so.
Oh, hell no. Hell fucking no. You couldn't even take me to
no.
But then we got a slingshot shoulder block from LA Knight when he was on the ropes trying to get back in the ring. One of LA Knight's signature moves. Knight then stomps on Walter in the corner. Power slam by LA Knight. He was doing some strength moves, which was impressive by LA Knight. That's a scoop slam on Walter. Knight then lands an elbow drop with the theatrics, which was nice. Kick out by Walter. And then Knight gets superplex, where Walter's trying to, he pushes LA Knight off the top rope. Walter's trying to climb the top rope, trying to dive off. Then LA Knight, signature LA Knight, he runs up the top rope, superplex on Walter, near fall. That move I like from LA Knight. And then we get LA Knight then trying to go for the BFT, but Walter blocked it. Walter blocks it, and then Walter tries to chop. Then LA Knight happens to block it. Walter then lands a chop. Sleeper by Walter. Then Knight managed to turn it into a Burning Hammer, which was very impressive and a near fall. The
Right.
Burning Hammer, shades of Trent Seven, who is currently in NXT UK with Tyler Bate, who I think Mustache Mountain are fucking awesome. Love those guys.
Yes.
So LA Knight hits the Burning Hammer near fall, and I thought that was it after that. Walter then kicks out. And then Walter hits his power bomb in the big splash. And 1, 2, 3, and Walter goes over LA Knight. And I thought, which was a good match. What do you think of this match? And what do you think Walter goes from here? What do you think LA Knight goes from here?
I think at this time, both men were stellar in this match. I like this match. I like Walter. Walter is tough. Let me tell you something. Walter is tough. He's tough like a $2 steak. He's tough.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah, he's tough. Those chops are just absolutely scintillating. I mean, I felt it all the way in Brooklyn, and I was just, I was like, I would not want to be a receiving end of that. Trust me, believe that. No, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. I thought the match was okay. I thought the match was good. It was crisp. It was flowing. I'm not going to say it was a classic. I'm not going to say anything like that. Walt just had some good matches. That match he had with Dragunov, oh my gosh, that was absolutely scintillating. That match was absolutely scintillating. I think the both men, if they come up to the roster, I think I can see LA Knight go to Raw, and then I can see Walter going to SmackDown. I can see Walter feuding with
Walter. You put him in there with Roman. I think he could be a guy to take the title off Roman. Universal title.
Yeah, I mean I could see that. I could see that. Since they're not unifying the title.
Oh, but the stipulation is unification. They're ending the brand split, man.
Given the two networks, USA and Fox, I doubt it.
No, they're not going to get rid of it. I mean, everybody wants the brand.
They listen to the two networks and not the fans. You think they care? You think they listen to the fans? Of course not.
Right? No, of course not. I've said this many times. So they're not going to get rid of the brand split. I mean, everybody wants them to, but they're not going to get rid of the brand split. Are you serious? They're not getting rid of that. It makes them revenue. It makes them money. And that is what the WWE is all about. They're all about money. They don't care about what fans think or the wrestling or the quality of wrestling. They don't care about none of that. That's irrelevant to them.
They're making $1 billion off of Fox. They don't have to do anything, unfortunately, which just sucks. Which is sick.
No, and I mean they're making money off of Peacock too. They're making money all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean this company is bleeding money. But when it comes to the wrestling, the quality of wrestling, it's not there.
Well, because they're too blind to buy all that green.
Right.
The more money they make, the worse they get.
Right. And the thing is that you can't blame us. You can't blame us for criticizing the product because we just see what we see that you give us, and then we critique on it.
Exactly. Without us, there is no AEW.
No, listen. I've said this many times before. And everybody agrees with me. Fans make wrestling.
Absolutely. They're lucky. They're
Fans
lucky
make
that we're
wrestling.
even still watching. I mean, I've been watching for
Right.
15 years, and I'm pretty much a diehard. I'm never going to stop watching. But the casuals, it's like if you give them a shit product, they're going to stop watching.
Listen, I have been a wrestling fan for almost 3 decades. Okay, I mean, this is just absolutely. I mean, what I'm seeing today is absolutely lunacy. Um, I mean, some of the booking just doesn't make any sense.
No,
I'm just kind of curious. I'm just kind of curious about tonight's night number 2 at WrestleMania. Can you still create the magic you did last night and carry it over to night number 2? That is something that needs to be watched very carefully.
it's going to be very,
Because
very
if
tough for
you
night two to top. It's going to be very, very tough for night two to top night one. I'll tell you that.
well, I know that. That I know. That I
Yeah.
know. That I know. That I know. But it's going to be curious to see how the matches deliver. No pun intended. How they deliver the goods.
Yeah. But Walter and LA Knight, this was a good match. The right person went
Yes.
over. LA Knight, I think this
Yes.
is his send off too. He's got to get called up. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you say put him on Raw. I'd honestly put LA Knight on SmackDown because SmackDown's on Fox. Fox headquarters is in LA, and LA Knight. It just makes sense.
Oh.
It makes sense.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
And can you imagine LA Knight versus
I
Sami Zayn feud? LA Knight feuding with Roman Reigns or Ricochet for the Intercontinental title, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I like to see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Yeah. And like
I
I
wouldn't
said,
have
Raw
any issues.
need fresh faces. They need stars bad.
Yeah,
They need
because the
something.
thing is that they
need
don't
something
create
to wake
they don't
right up.
create new stars.
They
Yeah,
need
they
something
don't
just to
create
wake them
new
right the
stars.
hell up.
Yeah. They need a good swift kick in the behind.
Like enough of these Vince McMahon yes men. We need more people to challenge and fight Vince. The more yes men and the more yeses that Vince hears, Vince will never change.
No, they're not. And the
You
thing
see
is
people like
that,
Cody Rhodes isn't a yes man. Cody's going to argue Vince when things don't make sense. You think Cody's a yes man? Hell no.
yeah, I mean no, I mean, he knows what booking is. He knows what wrestling booking is, and he knows what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. He
Yeah.
knows what connects to the audience and what won't.
Exactly. You think Cody wanted to show up a few weeks before Mania? No. He wanted to show up last night, which came off a hell of a lot better.
Right.
If he would have showed up a few weeks ago, it
Right.
would not have come off as big.
No, it wasn't. No, and I think him waiting in the wings was the right move. To be honest with you,
Similar to the Hardys when
I
they
had no
returned at WrestleMania 33.
right,
Like they kept it silent
Yeah.
and they just showed up.
right, exactly.
You know, even same thing with the Dudleys when they returned on the Raw after SummerSlam 2015 in Barclays in Brooklyn. They just showed up. There's no announcements, no spoilers, just showed up.
Right.
But LA Knight and Walter, good match. Right man went over. I'd like to see Walter also challenge for the NXT title after Stand and Deliver also as well. I would not mind that at all.
No, I wouldn't mind that at all. You know what I would do? I would do like a number one contenders match. That's what I would do, and have Walter be in it. That's what I would do in the booking. I think that's something that needs to get explored.
Yeah. But moving on to the main event of Stand and Deliver, NXT Championship match. Dolph Ziggler with Bobby Roode defending against Braun Breaker, who actually had his own entrance at Stand and Deliver. They had the NXT 2.0 logo letters set up. Braun Breaker with the chainsaw. He chainsawed through the X and kicked it down, which was almost similar to the New Year's Evil one was NXT Black and Gold logo where Braun Breaker kicked it down. This was very similar to that. So this was kind of weird where they had the 2.0 logo kicked down by Braun Breaker. This was very, 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 very weird when I saw this last night. Not when I saw this yesterday. Not last night, when I saw this yesterday. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I kind of got a strange feeling from me when I saw that. But, yeah.
No, I agree with you with that. I
don't know if
I
that
don't know
means
what the
anything,
symbolism.
but it just got a weird. I was like, this is strange.
I think what the message is that they're trying to say that he is going to roughshod over NXT, and this is him breaking through the glass ceiling. I think that's exactly where they were going with that. If I was envisioning it the way I was envisioning it, the main event was great. I had no issues with the main event. You know, the right person won, and the match was solid.
I honestly thought Braun Breaker would win the title back here because his father and his uncle got inducted into the Hall of Fame with the Steiner brothers at the Hall of Fame on Friday, which I thought was great. And then I thought Breaker would win the title back here, but nope, that wasn't the case here. And but this match wasn't too bad. But he had Ziggler retain, which I was very, very surprised by. You had Bobby Roode at one point in the match get ejected from ringside. And then when the ref was busy with Bobby Roode and Braun Breaker, Dolph Ziggler actually exposed the middle turnbuckle during this match. The match started off like rough in the first half. Second half, I will say, was much better. It was an okay match. And there was one botch in the match. I don't know, like there was like a botch in the match where I think some kind of spine buster or whatever, but there was one botch in the match. I'm not sure if you caught it. It's a botch between Breaker and Ziggler, and there was a few botches in this match. And I'm watching this. I'm like, Breaker has been getting better, yes, but he's still very green. Makes me think that Ciampa should have beat Breaker at New Year's Evil this year.
Yeah, I agree with this.
I think the NXT title match should have honestly been Ciampa versus Tony D instead of Breaker versus Ziggler, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the assessment.
If that was that, I think it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, like I said, and I said before, and I'll say it again. The match was okay. Like you said, there were a few botchy, glitchy things going on in the match. There was a lot of glitchy, witchy things going on there. But other than that, it was okay. It wasn't a classic. It wasn't stellar. You know, it wasn't stellar or anything like that. I'm not going to say that. But it kept it moving, and it was there for what it was. And they wanted Ziggler to retain, and okay.
Yeah. And then there was and Breaker hit like 3 spears in this thing. Look fine by Braun Breaker. He had the military press power slam near fall. We had Bobby Roode, though he was ejected, he still comes back out, distracts Braun Breaker. Breaker gets back in the ring. Famous here by Ziggler with a combo of a zigzag. Kick out by Braun Breaker. Then I was like, oh, Breaker's going to win the title back. And the first military press power slam Breaker got on Ziggler. He connected, and Ziggler kicked out at 2.5. Breaker tries it a second time. Ziggler fights free out of it. He throws Braun Breaker headfirst into the exposed turnbuckle. Ziggler hits the super kick, and 1, 2, 3, and Dolph Ziggler retains the NXT title, which I was very shocked by. I don't know where Dolph Ziggler with the NXT title goes from here. I don't know where Braun Breaker goes from here. I'm hearing rumors that Breaker could possibly get called up to Raw or SmackDown after Mania. I think he's going to the Raw brand after Mania. They may call him up to Raw after Mania. I think it's way too soon for Braun Breaker. After the few botches he did in this match, he's nowhere near ready. You don't need to fast track Braun Breaker to be this fast and this quick. He's not ready. He's not ready at all. What do you think of this match and all? What do you think of Ziggler retaining, and what do you think Ziggler and NXT title goes from here? Who do you think challenges him next? And where do you think Braun Breaker goes from here? Does he stay in NXT? Does he get called up? Do you think it's too soon to call him up? Because I think it's way too soon to call him up.
No, I agree with you with that. I think it's way too soon in the program to be bringing him up.
He hasn't grown, he hasn't matured yet.
No, I think you leave him alone in NXT. Don't touch him. Leave him alone. Let him stay in NXT. Let him get some wins under his belt. Let him hone his craft.
Let him grow.
Let him grow. Right. Let him grow. Leave him alone. Let it ride. As far as Ziggler is concerned, I'm kind of confused here. He was feuding with Ciampa. They were going back and forth on the roster, up and down the roster thing, and then they bring him back down to NXT just for him to win the NXT title. I don't understand what they're doing with Ziggler. I don't know, and I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised that they gave Ziggler the title. I mean, the heavyweight, because let's just face it, Dolph Ziggler is not what he used to be. Well, he's not anymore. He used to be championship material, but he's not anymore. Because when he was in the main roster,
I will say about Ziggler that him with the NXT title, it's actually not bad work. Probably better than he was on the main roster. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with that because
I mean, almost like a career resurgence.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that, and I'm not going to argue with that fact. But the thing is that when he was in the main roster, he was a jobber.
Yeah,
he was a jobber. He was jobbering out to everybody all over the place. Because the problem with Dolph Ziggler is that he has a big mouth. He's got a big mouth. And when he doesn't like something, he'll go on Twitter. He don't go behind the curtain and talk to people directly. He goes on Twitter and he files his grievance with the people on Twitter, and he gets punished for it. So they label him not professional or whatever, and he gets punished for it. So I was very surprised that they gave him the NXT title.
Yeah.
But the match itself was okay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the match was fine for what it was. The first half was rough. Second half was much better.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said moments ago, Braun Breaker, has he been getting better? Yes, the matches with Ciampa, the matches with Santos Escobar, even the ladder match in late last year he had with Johnny Gargano was pretty good too. That just goes to show you how great Johnny Gargano is. That just goes to show you how great Tommaso Ciampa is. And that just goes to show you how great Santos Escobar is because they know what they're doing. They know how to wrestle. You put Breaker in with the right proper guys, Breaker will get better.
Well, yeah, I agree with that assessment. I agree. I think everything.
But if you put Braun Breaker in there with guys like Tozawa and Reggie Breaker, then Breaker will never get better. But if you put him in there with guys like Ciampa, Gargano, Escobar, then Breaker will get better in that ring. But Breaker getting better, yes. But despite that, Breaker's still green as grass in the ring. He's still green.
Oh yeah.
He still has a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Still has tons to learn.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say he was exposed a bit, but he's still green. And there's rumors of him going to the Raw brand after Mania this year. That's way too soon. Like was Hit Row ready for SmackDown last October with the draft? Hell no. Was $0 ready? No. Was Ashanti the Adonis ready? No. Was B-Fab ready? No. Isaiah Swerve Scott was the only one in Hit Row that was ready for the main roster for SmackDown. He was the only one that was ready. The rest were not ready with Hit Row. Ridge Holland, look at him on SmackDown since October. Is he ready for SmackDown still? No.
No, and this feud with New Day and all of that, it's just ridiculous. By the way,
Like,
just to
a
let
guy like
everybody
Pete
know
Dunne,
that
he's ready. Pete Dunne has been as a guy that's been ready. Rich Holland, not so much.
yeah, right.
Braun
Just to let
Breaker, he's
everybody know,
nowhere near ready.
no, no.
You call Braun Breaker right
Just
now,
let,
he will fail.
right.
And not too long ago on Raw, that was in Cleveland about a few weeks ago. Braun Breaker was on Raw. They had him go out. Raw had him go out there and smile. They had him go out there smile. Or Braun Breaker in NXT, you see no smiling.
Right.
So I don't even trust. So I don't even trust Raw. So I don't even trust Raw at all with Braun Breaker. I don't trust Raw with I don't trust Raw with Braun Breaker whatsoever.
No. No.
I mean, if he gets called up, I think they're
going
gonna fuck him up. They're gonna fuck him up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Monday Night Raw, where careers go to die. Yeah.
Just to let everybody know that last night the New Day was supposed to have their match with Braun Breaker and Sheamus. Due to time constraints on some of the matches that you saw last night in WrestleMania, they moved it to tonight's telecast. That match will be moved to tonight. So you're going to be seeing that match in its entirety tonight on the show, which I hope and I pray this match opens the show, because then this way you can get rid of it.
Yeah.
You can do away with it. And yeah, you can get rid of it.
Yeah. But Breaker, I think he could get called to WrestleMania to Raw brand. It's way too soon. Ziggler, maybe Carmelo Hayes or Walter challenges Ziggler after, or Tony D after Mania for the NXT, challenges Ziggler for the NXT title. I don't know. We'll see. But I thought this was a decent match once again. And looks like this is Breaker's send-off. I think it's too soon to call him up. He needs a year and a half left in NXT, and then he's ready. Right now, it's not the time at all.
Right. No.
Calling up Braun Breaker to Raw now is a big mistake.
Absolutely.
Like, look at Ryback 10 years ago, a decade ago. He beat all those jobbers, and then they threw him right in the fire with CM Punk at Hell in a Cell 2012 over the WWE title, and Ryback failed. And I'm glad Punk beat him because Ryback wasn't ready then.
No, he wasn't.
So the biggest difference between Ryback and Braun Breaker, Ryback sucks. Braun Breaker's nowhere near Ryback levels. Ryback just blows.
Well, you know something, Ryback is just a very bitter person now on Twitter. I mean, I've seen
he's been gone from WWE for 6 years and he's still salty.
Yeah, he's
Mr. Ryback, WWE released you because you couldn't cut it because you sucked. That's why WWE released you, Ryback. They didn't want to pay you because they knew you were a waste of roster space, Mr. Ryback. He was a waste of payroll. And he's been gone for 6 years and he's still salty.
Yeah,
Guy's
he's
still
very
talking
bitter.
about Triple H. Guy's talking about how Triple H is a liar.
Very bitter person.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, decent NXT and yeah, decent match with Ziggler and Breaker for the NXT title yesterday at Stand and Deliver. For NXT, decent match. Was it the worst NXT show with Stand and Deliver last night? No. It was a decent show, but
decent.
It could be better because I will say this. If there was a no 2.0 experiment, like I swear to God, if Triple H had no heart attack and all, I guarantee you he'd get Braun Breaker to where he should be in terms of being over and popular. He'd definitely make Braun Breaker a lot more over than he is right now. Definitely a lot more over than he is right now. I swear to God, like if that was that would be that. But
Right.
Stand and Deliver yesterday was a decent show. Some decent wrestling. I mean, looking at the roster, it could be a good show, but it's just there was no reason to change to 2.0. And like I said earlier in this video, I don't see this experiment lasting. I think they'll eventually go back to the indie wrestler hiring ways. And with a lot of the AEW Day One contracts coming up this year, WWE wants them. But I heard AEW is not competition according to WWE, which AEW is competition. But that's just me on all that. But
yeah, you digress.
huh?
I said you digress.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know, dude. I don't know anymore.
Yeah. But decent show, in my opinion, last night with Stand and Deliver. It was an okay show. It was an all right show with Stand and Deliver yesterday. Sorry. I'm talking about this the WrestleMania Night 138. It's still stuck in my head from last night. So my apologies on that. But anyways,
well, no.
Decent little show with Stand and Deliver for NXT yesterday afternoon.
Yes.
Yes, and that is that for the review video for NXT Stand and Deliver 2022 for the review video for 2022 NXT Stand and Deliver. That is that for the review video for that. Hit the like on the video, subscribe as well, hit the bell for all notifications also while you're at it. If you haven't done so already, it would be greatly appreciated from all of you guys. Follow me on Instagram at Nicholas Fiore 2014. Follow me on Facebook at Nicholas Fiore 31. And follow me on Twitter at FioreNick579 over on Twitter. I use a lot of Twitter a lot and all, but just be warned, there's a big difference between an opinion and stupidity. And if you come into my Twitter feed with blatant and sheer stupidity, you either get muted or blocked. So just be.
I agree. Yeah, I just I agree with that too. So guys,
or if you're a troll, that's an instant block.
Oh yeah.
Like if you got a username that has like BlissBotFan 6844446799991, that's an instant block. Absolutely no questions asked.
Right. Yeah, so guys, I'm on Twitter as well, and you all can follow me on Twitter at WWE Earl C. That's WWE Earl C. As everybody knows, and my show, The Wrestling Experience, we talk about all kinds of things, and I have done all kinds of things. I had a guest on from the UK. I had my first female guest. I have done a lot of things in my realm of my show. And tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do the second annual watch along. We hope that you will watch along with me and my guest as we dissect Raw tomorrow night after WrestleMania. This was a lot of fun for me.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun.
Great to have you. The debut Earl call on the Fiorious Nation, I think, pretty good, and I'm glad he was on here and we discussed some NXT and some Stand and Deliver. Next time you see me here, it was supposed to be last night reviewing WrestleMania Night 1 with me and Matt Doherty, but unfortunately he fell asleep last night. But good news, he and I will review WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 later on tonight, right after WrestleMania 38 Night 2 tonight. So look out for that. Hopefully Matt will be there. And shout out to Matt Doherty shout out to him and with Matt Doherty as well. He has his own podcast of his own. So I recommend checking him out with his podcast. I can send the link when that video comes later on tonight. Hopefully you'll be there tonight to review WrestleMania 38 night 1 and night 2 tonight, hopefully. So just to say that right now. And yeah, and that is that for the review video for NXT Stand and Deliver 2022. Sadly, not TakeOver. But that's a wrap, folks. I'm Nick Fiore. This is Earl Call, Fiorious Nation YouTube channel right here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining me and Earl Call. And thank you guys so much for joining. I will see you hopefully later on tonight with Matt Doherty for the review video for WrestleMania 38 review video for nights number 1 and number 2.
And night 2.
Yes,
and I will be back. And I will be back tomorrow night. Yeah. Yes.
So,
and I will be back tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, for the Wrestling Experience Raw Watch Along. I hope you all will join me for that.
Yes, absolutely. And check out Earl Cole's Wrestling Experience YouTube channel. Subscribe to his channel as well. Highly recommend doing that. And get him some more subscribers. Get him some more views. So if you haven't done so, subscribe to his channel as well. Highly recommend as well, folks.
Yes, subscribe. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And I'll see you guys later.